My name is Jamie, and I donated my kidney 4 years ago to a complete stranger. I didn't meet my recipient until weeks after our surgeries, and we kind of met accidentally. To be quite honest, the donation office didn't separate our doctor's appointments, so we ended up running into each other. But all I knew before that was what her mother had written to me in this letter while I was still in the hospital, saying that they were just out of options. They were just hoping, praying that somebody would come along and donate a kidney. They honestly thought that they were going to have to wait for someone to die, which sucks. Shouldn't have to be in that position. But, before I ran into my recipient, she didn't want to meet me, which is totally fine. It's up to her. Completely her choice of whether she wants to meet me or not. I didn't think it was fair for me to not meet her if that's what she ended up wanting sometime in the future, but I wasn't going to push her into meeting me either. It's not why I did it. Didn't want to receive any accolades, credits, or anything like that. I just wanted to help somebody and help a family, essentially. So her kids are now in high school. The transformation from seeing her from 4 years ago to now is incredible. She's healthier, better color, energy. She can do a lot more things, and it's quite impressive. Let's be honest. No one's going to think about kidney disease unless it's happening to you or to somebody that you know. So it's not that I didn't know kidney disease was a thing, it's that I've never really been faced with kidney disease. I've never really thought about it. So seeing billboards, Facebook ads, Instagram, stories of people asking for kidney donations, liver donations, all of those kinds of things is pretty eye-opening because it's out there, it's real, and there are actual solutions without waiting for a cadaver or an organ donor to pass away. And I think that's really important for people to know. There is a solution that can happen pretty immediately if you are willing to take the risk of being a living organ donor. We all know that kidney failure is bad. It sounds bad. What I didn't know, aside from people who are going through kidney failure are usually on dialysis permanently unless they can receive a donation, is that your diet changes. My recipient couldn't eat potatoes. So after she was all healthy, recovered from the surgery, she was super excited just to eat French fries. And I think because we just don't ever think about these things unless it's affecting us, we take these little things for granted. Like, I can go eat potatoes whenever I want to, but my recipient couldn't until she received a kidney donation. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I decided to donate a kidney to help someone, to help their family. I didn't want another family to go through the not knowing, the what if. Is the next phone call the phone call that you need to be at the hospital? It's scary. And it's really sad that a family has to continue to go through this. So I wanted to help. This is my way of giving back. I know it's crazy. Most family and friends still think I'm crazy for doing this because what if I need one in the future? What if my other kidney fails? What if I have to go through chemotherapy? There's so many what ifs in the world, and I didn't think that the what ifs and the maybes of the future outweighed saving someone and saving a family, because there's always what ifs. My house could burn down, but yet my house is still made out of wood. I could get in a car wreck, but I still have to drive to work. To me, the risks were all the same, and this is what I needed to do to help someone. I'm an anxious person. I overthink everything. Think of every possible horrible scenario that could happen out of any everyday situation and every decision I may have to make. The one thing that I never ever questioned was donating a kidney. I didn't think of any bad consequences. I didn't think of the what ifs of the future. I knew that I was meant to donate this kidney to a stranger, and I know it sounds crazy. I know it does. But this was what I was meant to do in life. This is how I was giving back to the community. My husband fought me for a little bit and then just kind of came to the conclusion, I'm stubborn enough, I'm going to do whatever I want, whether he supports it or not. So he quickly changed teams and was supportive. My family was very concerned that, what if I do need a kidney in the future? What if I have a kidney disease or chemotherapy that's just hard on your body? what if? And there's always that risk. There's always going to be that risk. My community, my hospital that I donated through my program, if something were to happen to me, if I developed kidney disease or something like that, I do go very close to the top of the transplant list because I'm a Good Samaritan donor. So that's great. I have options, but I'm really not worried about it. I'm healthy. My family history is very healthy. I think we will be fine, but getting my family on board with that took a lot of work. I think the bigger difference is I just tuned everybody out, and I knew this, what I was supposed to be doing. I was going to do it regardless of opinion, and it just worked. And after I've done it, and it's been a few years now, my family's actually very, very supportive and excited, grateful that this is something that I chose to do so selflessly just because I saw a billboard and a couple of Facebook ads. To be perfectly honest, there was never really a point in this process where I was scared or upset or anything like that. After my surgery, I started noticing some different effects on my body, such as insanely thirsty all the time. I'm sure the doctors in the hospital told me all of this. I just didn't pay attention. That I needed to drink twice the amount of water as a normal person and what I used to drink in order to help my cute little kidney keep up. The other thing I noticed is when we would go on hikes or I'd get really, really hot and overheated, I would stop sweating and my finger joints would swell up. Everything would swell and I just get too hot, just too overheated. I have to stop, take a break. I thought I was dehydrated. I wasn't dehydrated. And actually what really helped me kind of navigate the changes of my body and my body training itself to rely on one kidney instead of two was talking to another kidney donor. I've actually met a couple. They have both donated to family members, but it's really helpful to talk to them as a group and share our experiences and to share what happened to us and know that it is totally normal. It's nothing to be scared of, but it does take a little while to get used to. So outside of the operating room, they put me on my little gurney and I sat outside of the operating room for 10 or 15 minutes. It was a lengthy amount of time and I was just out there by myself, which is fine. But every person who passed me in their own operating table, I wondered if that was my recipient. Obviously they tried really, really hard to keep us separated, even though we were going to be in operating rooms next to each other. It was just the not knowing who it was and just the curiosity of it all. I wasn't panicked, I wasn't scared, I wasn't nervous, I didn't regret anything. It was just more of I wonder who. And then even as I was going under anesthesia, nothing. Again, I'm an anxious person. I just have a constant loop of all the things that could go wrong in my mind, and that was the only situation in my life where it was just, I know this is the right decision, everything is perfect, this is where I'm meant to be. I had no thoughts other than I hope my recipient is going to recover and do as well as I hope she does. The best moment after surgery was when the doctors came in and told me that my recipient was doing far better than recipients do after this entire surgery. The surgeons and doctors told me that both she and I were doing much better than donors and recipients. We were actually going to be able to go home a day sooner than most people, and it was just such a good feeling to know that what I had done was not in vain. She was happy, she was healthy, she was recovering. Just a warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that it all worked out, and it all worked out actually far better than anyone could have ever anticipated. Probably about 6 months of recovery time until I got my energy level back. I think that was kind of the longest process, was the energy level. I was tired all the time, and everything, even going for a walk, just completely wore me out for, about 6 months. Which is to be expected. I mean, it's a massive surgery. I have a huge scar on my abdomen, and it probably took 6 to 8 months for that to really be fully healed too. I was up walking around within 7 to 10 days by myself. I was driving within 2 weeks. So most of that was actually really, really, really quick. It was just the gaining the energy level back, kind of figuring out what my body can and can't handle. Again, going back to the drinking far more water than I thought. And now that I'm drinking a lot more water, I have to add more salt to my diet. I'm still having the side effects of, like, if I get overheated, my body shuts down, I stop sweating. But that was about it. Recovery time, as far as pain, surgery, pain, was about 6 months. But it didn't stop me from doing anything. It was just trying to gain back my energy and endurance levels. I don't really like this question, to be honest with you. When I turned 30 a couple years ago, I felt pretty down. Just kind of quarter life crisis, I guess, if you will. Just, I'm 30, I didn't accomplish any of the things I thought I would by the time I turned 30. Disappointing my younger self. All of those things. My husband actually brought up a really good point, and I know I've donated a kidney. Like, I went through the process, I still have the scars. Family, you've done all of these great things. The reason you wanted to donate a kidney in the first place, and that's more than some people can say that they've done in their entire lifetime. So, learned about myself, I guess, that I'm willing to give from me to help somebody else, literally. And other people, people either get it or they don't, and it's fine. If people don't understand why you're donating a kidney or, half your liver, that's fine. And people aren't going to understand, but most people hated it. They hated the idea that I was doing this and putting myself through this and taking this risk for somebody that I don't know. And after, it's been about 4 years now, and everybody is impressed, amazed, and thankful that a stranger, somebody like me, would decide to do this for another stranger. I think it helps show people that there's still good in the world. I know with COVID and whatever we're dealing with, 2020 as a whole, where we had earthquakes and hurricane winds and riots and everything else. It's been hard. It's been a really hard year. So I think showing this and showing that people still want to help other people are still willing to take these risks to help other people, I think it shows everyone else that there's good in the world. There's still lights at the end of the tunnel. There's hope. And I think that is a really, really big deal, and it's a thing that we always constantly need. As I stated earlier, the only thing that's really changed is the amount of water I have to drink, and now I have to supplement myself with salt tabs or electrolyte tabs. These are everywhere. My car, my desk, home, everywhere. About every other water bottle I drink has electrolyte tabs in it, and that's just to keep up on my salt. If I need it, I will deplete myself rather quickly. And the other things that have really happened with my health is, just not being forced to, but being very encouraged to eat healthier, which everybody knows they should be doing anyway. But now I only have one kidney. I gotta protect that little guy. So doing the vegetables, the low cholesterols, making sure you exercise, doing everything that we all know we should be doing, but it's not so much for my vanity anymore, it's for protecting my vital organs and making sure that I keep it healthy. I honestly do not regret anything about this process. I'm still very glad I did it. I've had never second guessed myself. I have never been upset that I've done this. I've never, even with all the changes of my body getting used to everything after surgery, I've never once thought, well, what if I didn't do it? It's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, and I stand by it. The only thing I didn't really expect is kind of the negativity from some people who are still just like, why would you do that? What if you need one? What if your husband needs one? What if... There's too many what ifs in the world, and for me it just wasn't worth worrying about a what if. So still would not change anything for the world, and honestly, if they would take half of my liver, I would probably donate that to somebody too. It's hard to have a favorite part after surgery and being a living kidney donor. I don't really have a bad part, so I don't know if one particular thing stands out in my mind as the best thing. I would say the most meaningful thing that has happened since surgery is my recipient's family. Her sisters, her parents, her sons wrote me letters. I still get a little emotional thinking about it, but they were very powerful and emotional and just full of love and hope, and just saying thank you for helping their daughter continue on with her life, improving her quality of life, watching her sons grow up and not having to worry anymore, and not just wondering and waiting and hoping. That was probably the most touching, meaningful part that will probably stay with me forever. I have those letters, and every time I'm feeling down or having a bad day, I kind of go through and look at those, and it's a great reminder of how much people care and how thankful people can be if you kind of put in the time and effort to do something nice and help out everybody in your community. I have really no advice to give. You've either made the decision to donate a kidney or not. I think it's a little bit more comprehensible if you're donating to somebody you know, family, friend, because you can see it, you see their struggles, you know the pain. To donate to a stranger is difficult because you may never know who this person is or how well they're doing or anything about them, and it's difficult for a lot of people to understand, because I mean, you're taking a vital organ from your body and giving it to someone, and you just don't know. And it's really tough for a lot of people to understand, and it's fine. I totally understand that. I mean, if I have to give any advice, it would be to reach out to other people who are thinking about being a donor or have donated or a recipient. I have met a couple kidney donors who have donated to family members, and we have a lot of the same experiences, which is great. I have yet to meet an altruistic donor in person who donated to a stranger, but you know, from the feedback I get online, there are a lot of us out there. And it's really hard to explain why we want to do this for a stranger, but we all just knew it was the right decision, it was the right time, and that's what we had to do. And I really don't know how else to explain it other than that. But the other feedback that I'm getting online, which I think is great, is people who are still looking for matches. They're still looking for their kidney match. And I am so happy and so thankful that I can still be a part of helping these people find their match through living donors or the match system, whatever it may be. I think it's great that I can still be involved. I can still help others, because I obviously can't give another kidney up. I've only got the one left, but it's really nice that there's this whole community trying to rally and support and help these people find living donors. And I think living donors are rare. A lot of people don't know about it, and a lot of people don't want to know about it because it is scary, donating something to a stranger. Because there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of what ifs, and it's hard to overcome those obstacles. Research, talk, rally, find a little group that you can have these discussions with, and just see what everybody's experiences are. If people have questions, if they want to talk to me, they want me to clarify something, I'm more than happy to have people reach out to me. I will let Explore Living Donation kind of facilitate that. I'm not really sure what the rules are, to be quite honest with you, but I'm happy to answer any questions or share any more experiences about myself donating a kidney to a complete stranger if anybody does want to know more.